Hello everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and I'm here today with Michael Waas. He is an anthropologist, archaeologist, and historian. As well, he is his family's genealogist. He's currently finishing up a master's at the University of Haifa, and we have him here today with us to talk about Y-DNA.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing me here to speak a little bit about the Y chromosome.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. So can you tell us what is a Y chromosome and how does the Y testing work?
Yes, so the Y chromosome is what is passed from father to son. When we're talking about XX and XY for male and female babies, the X is from the mother, it's the X chromosome, and the Y is from the father, the Y chromosome. The Y chromosome provides us with insight into the recent and more distant anthropological past of your direct patrilineal ancestor. The Y chromosome passed more or less unbroken from father to son, with a little bit of mutations here and there, which are called, which we see in the STRs, the short tandem repeats, as well as the more specific region of the Y chromosome when we discuss next generation sequencing, which is called a SNP, a single nucleotide polymorphism.
And that's actually something that we'll be talking about in a future video with the wonderful Zach Gordon. And then to go a little bit more in depth, what is Y chromosome testing?
So Y chromosomal testing, in general, we have two different kinds of testing. The basic one, which has been in use for over 20 to 30 years now and available commercially through Family Tree DNA since about 17 years ago, is called the YSTR test. This test sample is taken using 2 cheek swabs that gives enough genetic material from which to test. The STRs is looking at different locations on the Y chromosome, the neighborhood, the address, and seeing how many repeats are there. And as Jared mentioned in a future video, Zach will be going into further depth on what this means. Also, from once you do the swab, you can do any of the testing needed. In the recent past, only since about 5 years ago or so, has there been any sort of commercial availability of what's called next generation sequencing. Next generation sequencing takes us from the level of, we could look at 111 markers on the STRs, from that to over 10 million places on the Y chromosome. This sort of information has led to what's called the next generation sequencing revolution, of which the academics have not yet caught up to the technology itself.
Now, one of the projects that you are working on is using YDNA to look further in the past at the anthropological data.
Right.
But how can people at home who are looking to do genealogy on more recent generations use YDNA to their advantage?
Okay. So I myself am a representative of how YDNA testing can help you understand an unexpected surprise in the genealogical past. My own family, we discovered, came from a Sephardic Portuguese family that left the community in Amsterdam in the 18th century due to intermarriage with an Ashkenazi Jewish family, which at that time was still forbidden by the Portuguese. The first and most basic thing that we always recommend with understanding for the genealogical past is we start with what is called the Y37 panel from Family Tree DNA. The Y37 panel allows us to understand whether you belong to a known lineage, and by known lineage, we mean one that we've documented before. I'm working on a project of the Jewish people specifically, so we're talking about a Y-DNA lineage that has appeared or hasn't appeared or been documented before within the Jewish community. If it has been, we are usually able to place you exactly more or less where you fit and who are your closest neighbors. Sometimes we cannot really say that there's a genealogical relationship. It could be just beyond the availability of the historic record. Sometimes we do also have 2 families from the same area with the same surname who don't have a genealogical ancestor, but the STRs prove that they are from the same family. Furthermore, once we get into the next generation sequencing, we can actually tell you more or less with a high degree of confidence when exactly your patrilineal ancestors split and became 2 separate family branches, which can have immense genealogical implication because we are able to even see as close as within the past 100 to 200 years.
So with this Y-DNA testing, what's the proper way to approach it to use it for your recent genealogy?
So, like any good science or historical or archaeological research, you must always come in with a hypothesis that you wish to test, an informed hypothesis. What do I mean by informed? Come in with a set of questions you know from your genealogical past. Sometimes we're dealing with people who don't know their genealogical past, and that's a whole different issue, particularly in the case of adoptees or a potential non-paternal event that has been rumored in the family. And that can also be used to help connect the places where the paper trail just breaks off due to any variety of reasons. So when you come in with an informed hypothesis, informed question, you want to test. For example, within my family, we said when we're testing, we're, according to the Ashkenazi community in Amsterdam, we are Levites. And what we know about the Ashkenazi community in Amsterdam is that in the 18th century and 17th century, they're mostly arriving from the lands of Germany, Bohemia, Moravia, and informing the community there. Can this test, this STR test, tell us more about maybe we belong to one of the major Ashkenazic Levite haplogroups that have been well documented, or another Ashkenazic haplogroup that can give us some insight into where the family may have come from in the recent past. That was our research question. Obviously, as I mentioned before, the result was not what we were expecting, so we had to reformulate the question to, if this family is not of an Ashkenazic past, a recent Ashkenazic past, but of a Sephardic past, can we see this in the historical record? And what we did was, with this information, thanks to a deep and rich archival resource in Amsterdam through the municipal archives of the city, we have records of the Jewish community dating back all the way into the 16th century. From this archive, we were actually able to see a Portuguese family with a name very similar to mine leaves the Portuguese community at the same time that my family, the Waas Halevi family, enters into the Ashkenazi community in Amsterdam at the same time as this Portuguese family, Vaz Lopes, exits and disappears from the archival record. This is how we are able to use YDNA. Not every case is going to be as easy as this, but this can be an insight into how your family migrated from place to place, as long as you approach it properly with careful attention to what it can answer and what it can't answer. And it cannot answer anything that isn't on the direct patrilineal lineage.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. It was a wonder to have you.
Thank you for having me.
The project that you are working on is doing amazing work, and if anyone at home wants to help you out with that, is there anywhere they can go and donate?
Yes. Our project is the genetic census of the Jewish people, and on Family Tree DNA, which is our main repository, we are under the name of Avotenu, AVOTAYNU. The Avotenu Project is collecting thousands and thousands of samples from Ashkenazic, Sephardic, Mizrahi communities. It doesn't matter if it's Y, if it's mitochondrial, it's autosomal. All results are important to us as it gives us a greater understanding into our own research, which is on the recent past of the Jewish community. We are also researching the past of communities that are connected that, according to the Y, or mitochondrial or autosomal, seem to share a genealogical, anthropological, or other genetic relationship with known Jewish communities today. And in order to participate in this project, all you have to do is, if you're a customer of Family Tree DNA, log in with your kit by going to www.jewishdnaproject.org, and that will join you automatically. And from there, we are actually able to give you more insight and connect you with who you should be talking to further in order to understand your genetic past and what the results mean, and as well as provide opportunities for further testing that we can direct you which you should pursue, which makes the most financial sense. And if you wish to donate, there's also an option to donate to funds towards the project that will help us in our research even more as we go forward into the coming years.
Awesome. We'll be linking all of that down below. Thank you so much again, Michael. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it the thumbs up. You can also click somewhere right about here if you'd like to subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GeneaVlogger. I'm the GeneaVlogger. I'm out.